Hi guys, Brian Hobdy here with Hobdy's Ancients and More. Today I want to show you some coins from Africa in the area around Egypt. Egypt was a very important place in ancient antiquity, as it was called the breadbasket of civilization. And many people had conquered the area because of the mass amounts of grain that was produced there through their rich, fertile land. When the Nile would overflow, it would water everything in the delta and everything. So let's fast forward to Alexander the Great, just right here. After he had conquered all of Persia and acquired Egypt and the Persian Empire and parts into India, after he had passed, his kingdom was divided amongst his generals and some of his family. On that note, we have to remember when Alexander was asked about who should inherit his throne, he said, amongst whoever is the strongest. Which you can imagine how confused or unsure on how to go about deciphering what he said, what he meant by the strongest, as he was surrounded by such great characters and strong men who all had been capable under the general Alexander. Well, after Alexander's death, Ptolemy, one of Alexander's generals and lifelong friends, made his way back to Egypt, where I would think that he saw the strategic advantage of it, and they had just recently, somewhat, Greeks had liberated the Egyptians from the Persians, which they were more so happy with and everything. They preferred the Greeks over the Persian rule. They even made Alexander the Great pharaoh, and even the Greeks after him, which would be the Ptolemaic Dynasty, starting with Ptolemy the first, were made pharaohs as well, up until the last and one of the most famous, which would be Cleopatra the Seventh, the one who had relationships and children by none other than Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. So it represents Julius Caesar coin. It's so amazing how you can relate. You know, you talk about Julius Caesar, and this is a coin that he had minted from the silver that was in the Roman treasury, the Temple of Saturn, I believe, maybe. And he had to pay all these men that, backed him in his support to kind of straighten things out in Rome and everything, because he thought he was getting not the right end of the deal and stuff. They wanted him to leave his command and not to command any army and stuff. And they wanted to actually bring him back to Rome and charge him with war crimes and other things, which possibly could have been led to his death or banishment, which he didn't feel like he was rightly owed. Anyways, that's another story, so we'll put this back over here. So back to the Ptolemies. Okay, this right here is a bronze drachm. I believe it's around 44, 46, 40. I can't remember on the millimeters how big, but I do know it is 66.6 grams. It's a giant, massive coin. Kind of makes you think of wheelbarrow of money. If you had, imagine, say 1,000 of these, how heavy it would be to carry around. Their coins, on the process of ancient coins and how they were made, they would sit there and make blanks, kind of like how we do today in our currency and everything, to kind of prep us and make the process manufacturing go out well. So they would have these bronze discs already pre-made and everything, and they would heat them up, and then they would hand strike them with a die, obverse and reverse die. Now the dot in the center on these, there's two, maybe a third, I can't remember the third one. Example might have been the tongs that they held whenever they were heating up the planchet and stuff, getting ready to strike. Or also part of a it could have been I can't remember how they named. It was a way of tooling, I guess. Most of your Egyptian bronzes and stuff like that were tooled where they would make them look better, I guess. Nice, perfect, round, and stuff like that to give more uniformity and everything. But yes, back to this coin right here. This is Ptolemy the Fourth Philopator. He reigned between 225 and 205 BC. Giant coin. This is one of my favorites by far. I post pictures all the time. And this is, like I said, this is an Egyptian and a Greek coin. And the thing about the Egyptians or the Ptolemaic era, they kept their coins, their bronze coins, localized. So this coin didn't really get transported out of Egypt and stuff like that. When you would come in to Egypt with your currency, you would trade it out for their currency. And say when you leave, you would trade the money back out. And actually the Egyptian state was able to make some money during this process, because coming from Greek, say the standard was 17 grams on a silver tetradrachm. And say like this right here, it was 17.17 grams was the kind of standard, the Alexander the Great, and went off this Athenian standard. And a Greek person or Persian or whoever it might be would come, and they would have to trade this one out for another tetradrachm from the Egyptian thing. Well, this one's 14, almost 14 grams, and this one's 17, so there's 3 grams of silver difference. So the state would pocket that 3 grams. So that's how they kind of paid for everything and made some money during that process, centralizing the coinage stuff. Okay, here's another example of a Ptolemaic coin. This is Ptolemy the Eighth. What I love about this coin is it's in beautiful shape. It's, besides it's cracked, it's chipped on that one spot right there, but everything else on it is just remarkable. The eagle, which you see on so many ancient coins, was a past representation of strength. This is a tetradrachm, and coins were as big as this to that. All they were making these different sizes all at the same time. Here's your hemidrachum, hemidrachum, hemi-oval, they were making these large bronze coins same time he was making the littler coins as well. In some ages, this actually is a little bit older. This is almost towards the Archaic period, around 480, 500 BC. So 2,500 years more. Yeah. So yeah, Egyptian coin, Greek coin. Let's see. 2,300 years old. And you can own these people. You can hold these. Yeah. If you have any interest and would like to know more, or you would like to find a certain one that means something from you, there's a little something for everybody. Well, that's all I have for y'all today. Happy collecting. Bye.